Joyce Farmer yesterday, see if she could get something.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Diane.
Good morning.
Good morning, Amir.
Amir, you're hiding. There he is.
There he is. And Marlene. And Ernie. And Herb.
Morning, Ernie.
Michelle.
Morning.
Who did I miss? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I got everybody. All right, let's begin. Since it's 7:15, I call this meeting to order. So Amir, I think you have some happy news for us.
Regarding that check or?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have received a check for the amount of $5,000 from late Mr. Palmer. And we have started the process of depositing that check in our long-term Vanguard account that we have. Is a little bit involved, requested a form has come to me, which I filled and attached a check and sent. And by 19th of April, the check would be deposited in our long-term Vanguard Foundation account.
Good. So thank you for doing that. I know it's been a little convoluted.
Yep, because Vanguard is not a bank. And that's the reason if you have other things, like a Fidelity stuff, since they're a bank, they can make transactions. But this way we have to go to a different route. But all things work out. I just talked to our financial, the guy who's handling our account. Our rate of return in the last 3.5, 4 months, the first quarter basically has been 5.7%.
Wow,
That's a lot better.
yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
That's a lot better.
Mm.
Okay. Anything else on the foundation that you'd like to report?
That's it.
Okay. Anything on Habitat?
On the Habitat, well, there are 2 houses that they were frame and wall, drywall. It's being painted and doors being put up. If somebody interested working indoor is there, and also we are framing 2 twins next to it, which is with the 12-feet basement ceiling, which is on the slope. So anybody which would not scared of the height and would love to do some framing, more than welcome. We are putting the trusses and the floor on the first floor. So anybody, it's a beautiful weather. Get your tool belt and come out. You will have a lot of fun.
When is going to be the dedication? You know?
At least I think we are about 2 months away because we still have to do all the doors, all the trims, all the inspections, everything else. So I'll definitely inform that for like last time, I believe Gwen and Gary, you were present there,
Right.
representing Allentown West Rotary Club. But as the dedications, I'll definitely inform the club members if they want to join. That would be fantastic.
Okay, thank you. So Herb has to leave us. So Herb, I would like you to do membership next, please.
Sure. Okay. Well, I mean, what do we have on here? We've got a luncheon on Wednesday, I guess it is,
Tomorrow, yeah.
at noon. This charcuterie event, I guess, Helen was trying to do that, but sooner, but there were some issues with conflicts with lots of people's calendars, so I guess she's looking a little further out. Are there any updates, Diana, on Impact Club?
No, I don't. I would say not with regard to membership.
Okay. Well, the next learning session is April 29th with the Impact Club. That's going to be on youth services. Lisa Greenewald, I think I did send the recording to Lisa Greenewald. She asked me for that.
Okay.
I did talk to John and Sue Geiger, and I'm gonna try to set up an orientation for them sometime in the next month. Our membership committee meetings tomorrow night. I'm gonna hopefully by tomorrow night go through all the surveys and let people know what we learned from those surveys we did a couple of weeks ago. We're always looking for membership moments and Rotarians of the month. Please provide feedback to Gwen on that. Any update on the Mayfair?
Yeah, we have the schedule sent out and it's actually on the Allentown website as well. We already have about 10 people signed up.
Yeah.
Rosario and I spoke last week about what to do with the table.
Okay, good. The Meals on Wheels, I saw that was Allentown Rotary is sponsoring a tour of Meals on Wheels if anybody's interested on April 30th. And then a multi-club mixer, I guess that's Gail. So Gail, you want to give a real short update on that?
Well, we had our meeting at Domaine Terrion, and we still need to do some follow-up on that. If we do it, it would be early August. So we need to come up with some dates that work for everybody. And nothing's been decided at this point. So do we have any specific dates for our club that wouldn't work in August?
I think we talked about this at membership. We can go over it again tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if there, not that I can think of off the top of my head, but I think we can, go through that tomorrow.
Okay.
And we have a couple of things for the membership meeting tomorrow, Herb, that we spoke about before this meeting started. So I'll add that when you send out the agenda, I'll add that.
Yeah, okay.
Anything else, Herb, you want to talk about?
Not really. No, not at this point.
Can I just add one thing for the Impact Club?
Sure.
Melanie Sanchez Jones she's part of the Impact Club, and her husband Steve Jones and Melanie joined us for iftar at the mosque, and they heard that one of the African refugees family that we are sponsoring, they're expecting a baby in a couple months. So I believe Melanie is planning to have a baby shower. The Impact Club is trying to have a baby shower surprise party for the Afghan refugee family. So I'm very thankful for them, for the generosity they have shown toward this Afghan couple.
Is that for Benazir?
Yes.
And, yeah, oh, them, okay. Yep.
Yeah, her husband started working.
I know that, yeah.
And they have a car now, and they moved to a new house, which is have a lot less cockroaches and mice in the house for the new baby.
Okay.
So
I know I haven't met him, but I know like Jamie does a lot with him too from the Impact Club. She
Yes.
really likes him.
Yeah.
So Herb, anything on the Sierra Leone scholarship project? I don't think the board.
Oh, sure. Well, actually, we agreed to use the Allentown West Foundation as a mechanism, a pass-through, so that people could make donations for providing $350 scholarships for nurses and nurse anesthetists and things like that. But we really didn't ask anybody from the Allentown West Club, but we can, if anybody would want to donate. We asked Engineers Without Borders members, and we got 7. So we're up to 7 out of 10 scholarships for these 10 people that the hospital at Matru had asked for. So, and we've set up a way to provide that money to them through a charity in the United States, so that it'll all, be transparent in terms of where the money goes and that sort of thing. So that's kind of a work in progress. Again, the Engineers Without Borders have a lot of vested interest in everything that's going on in Sierra Leone, and we thought we would just ask them first, because we ask our members for other things. So we just sort of went that route.
I just want to let the board know that that's going on.
Yeah. So we've raised, I don't know, $2,200, $2,300 so far.
And just to finish on international, our fundraiser for Mongolia 2121 is scheduled for June 15th. We did have a meeting in March with the other clubs. And it looks like we're going to probably have several more students, and Nick did go to Mongolia for World Rotary Day, so he met with our students again. So they're all doing well. So that's good. Diane, anything else on Impact Club?
No, I don't think we're anything specific to report. You know, we're really heavily involved with supporting Bike Works for the Youth Bike Summit, which is actually June 14th to the 16th. So a number of us won't be able to attend the 15th event for Nick, but so all hands on deck for that right now.
So would you send a little blurb to Marlene about that? So she
Sure.
can-
Yeah, I will do. I'll
That
make
would-
a note of that.
Okay, so back to communications, a new topic. Diana, Gary, and I met with Rosario for about an hour and a half last week, and we're going to continue to meet with her just to make sure that the communications between the two clubs are really clear and that we understand the perceptions of each club. So Diana, do you want to say anything about that?
Sorry, I was on mute there. Yeah, I guess the only thing is I had got some feedback from her that and it wasn't really clear what she was meaning by it, that some of the Allentown members didn't really like the wording that we would use as supporting inner city Allentown Center City. And so she kind of clarified that. Well, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Gwen and Gary, I think, you know, what she said, I mean, one of the things she said in particular is that, you know, why wasn't the Allentown Club good enough to join? Some members said. And I originally thought it was maybe more to do with kind of the name implying, maybe some members took it negatively, that we were kind of referring to inner city Allentown or something, but apparently there was just, whether that was one individual or more, I don't know. But so we, you know, really clarified with her, look, I was a member of the Allentown West Club and I became aware of this Impact Club option. And I had recently retired, and I reached out to some other people that I knew had recently retired and we said, hey, look, you know, maybe we should do this. And that's really how it came about. But we talked about, I think more importantly, going forward, what we talked about is, you know, they could have Impact Club members. And this is very much in the early stage, but, you know, maybe instead of each of the clubs in the Lehigh Valley having an individual impact, quote, you know, satellite club, Impact Club, it could possibly be one larger, you know, club, but how that would be defined or work out, I don't know. But we just we said we'd talk again in what, 6 weeks, I think we're meeting?
Yeah, we're going to meet again in
Yeah.
June. So, yeah, so there was perception, I think, that we were coming into their territory and sort of taking over what they should be doing. So that was part of the discussion too.
Yeah,
They did have a couple service projects that didn't go well as far as immigrant families. So they kind of felt like we were stepping into their place and doing things that they should have been doing. So I think it was a really good conversation. It was well over an hour and a half. And we
Yeah.
had to talk again. So I want to be really careful when we work together with them about what we're saying. So we want to have some guidelines for Mayfair because we're going to be working side by side during that event. And also I wanted to ensure that the person who communicates about the Impact Club is Diana, because she's the one that knows the most about it. So that's really important. So anything else on that, Diana?
not at this point. Like I said, I think, you know, we'll be work in progress as we talk with them. You know, we talked about the fact that we do want to have a lot more interaction amongst the different various clubs in Lehigh Valley.
Yeah.
So more to come on that.
Yeah, so we're new in this relationship, so it's, you know, we're stepping on each other's toes a little bit at times. So we
I
just
suppose.
want to be careful about that, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything else on communication before we go to Mr. Chris? Okay, so one thing I'd like us to start doing is thinking about this transition from the presidential committee to Chris. So I've asked Chris to come up with what he thinks he needs and how can we help?
Okay. Well, you know, thinking about sort of the tasks or roles that people have, you know, that's the first thing that came to mind. I mean, I think fundraising is always important. I think, you know, this year, after participating on the fundraising committee, I think we have a good committee and we've got a good idea for, you know, next year with Ernie's, you know, flags. But it'll take a lot of work, as Ernie's noted. Fundraising. And a lot of these things I think are small items, but important, you know, so people don't get lost or feel, you know, I want people to feel like they're part of the club. So, we used to have what we call the family of Rotary. For those who don't really remember that or were around for it, it was just if something was happening in a member's life, like, something, birthday or, a tragedy or whatever, we'd send a card. And we've been doing that. Um, like we got a birthday card for Francesco, but that's something I'm not good at doing or thinking about. So, I could use some help with that, like little like gifts and thank yous. Again, that's not something that always crosses my mind.
Can I
Ideas
say
for speakers.
something?
Yeah,
I think Susan Geiger would be great at that.
I'll
She's
make a
very
note.
thoughtful.
We are still doing
We
family.
are doing that already. So-
Yeah, and I realize it, but I just don't want to, it's something that it doesn't come to my mind. So I definitely, if someone else can sort of champion that, like
Well-
Susan Geiger or whoever,
At the moment, I'm doing it.
or doing, yeah.
I just mailed a pile of cards yesterday, Monday.
So
Yeah.
what we do is I provide Marlene a schedule of all the birthdays, anniversaries, service anniversaries. Try to do it at least a week before the month starts, and then Marlene takes it from there.
Well, if you need
Okay.
help, Marlene, I think she might be good at that.
We can always change over. It's a new year.
Speaker ideas. Gwen, you emailed me the results of the ballot box, which is great. It got me thinking about some things, but if anybody has a speaker idea, please, let me know. Same with, as I mentioned at our club meeting the other week, I want people to feel like people in the club are their friends, not just someone they sit and have breakfast with once every 2 weeks. So ideas for social events like the Iron Pigs or the Phantoms or like the charcuterie, that sort of thing. Love to hear those ideas. And something else that I got out of the president-elect conference, you've probably seen it in emails and things from various Rotary groups, but tell your story. And was it Drew, I think it was Drew Kessler, told his story about going to Africa. And it was just, I guess what I'd like to hear from our members, maybe at not necessarily every club meeting, but a more or less regular basis. What was an event in your life that really inspired you to do service? I think that would be interesting to hear and would inspire other people to become involved. So that's something, I'll ask people to do. I've got my own story. I think I'll do the kickoff of that. But, if anybody wants to volunteer, let me know. And if I don't get volunteers, I'll ask people. So those are sort of the organizational things that I've been thinking of that I could use some help with.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Actually, during Herb's year, we kind of did that. He had a person each week that told their story. So we haven't done that for a while, so it would be good to go back to that.
Ralph did it. Ralph Seard, we did it too, over Zoom. He pointed somebody every week to what Rotary means to me. He did. That was good.
So it sounds like a good refresh.
Yeah.
So Ernie, I'm going to ask you, do you have to click off at any time?
In about a half an hour.
Okay, well, why don't we do fundraising next, okay? And then we'll come back to the financials. So we did have a meeting last week on the chili cook-off. We're working on that. We have the Iron Pigs fundraiser that Michelle is championing. We have about 8 or 9 volunteers for that. We'll send out this sign-up sheet again, and I'll send out an email. So Ernie, you want to tell us about the Field of Honor?
Sure. We're going to have to transition at some point from this being Ernie's project to being our project, largely because I don't want to take credit for it because I didn't invent it, but especially because it is a lot of work, and having done it now 4 times, it takes a year to get it to get it going and a year every year to get it right. Now, that having been said, I have a couple of friends who are very, very helpful and they want to participate. And so we're going to do a presentation on May 9th. I believe it's May 9th. I'll do a 5-minute elevator speech. And to prove that I'm a poor speaker, 2 of those minutes are going to be taken in a video from one of the events that we did in Virginia. So that'll be great. Here's what the project is. The project is to find a piece of land that we can plant 500 or more American flags laid out in a grid format, much like you would think Arlington National Cemetery. And each flag would be sponsored by a person or an institution, and you can sponsor as many flags as you want, somewhere between $50 and $60 each, and we'll get the flags for $17 to $20 each. And then there are opportunities for add-ons, and we'll talk about this, but you can have an add-on for being a Gold Star family or even a White Star family, prisoners of war, because some of those still exist. And then members of the military, police, fire, EMS, and you can have miniature flags attached to the American flag. That's perfectly acceptable to provide an additional level of sponsorship, such that if you did the quick math in your head, that's about $30 per flag coming back to Rotary as our take. And if we can get 500 flags, the quick math is that's $15,000. Now, Gwen's already told me that it's got to be $20,000, so we got to have more flags than that, but that's a good start. My old club in Virginia has flags that they're willing to give to us, so that we, or probably sell to us, so that we can get started, but we'll have to buy the rest early on and then find a way to get all of them sponsored. So how do they get them sponsored? We can have sponsorships from companies, and this is a great way to do this. Corporate sponsors, like my company absolutely will sponsor a number of flags, and we can have sponsorship levels that we'll provide names to. I'm sure we'll get to that at some point. And then we can have individual sponsorships from people who just want to have a flag to commemorate. Now, what is the commemoration for? Really kind of anything. We started this during COVID, where we wanted to have people, the whole point is to get together and find a way to come together around a rallying symbol that we can all agree on should be something that unites us rather than divides us. And so we chose the American flag. And so if you wanted, at the time we said, if you lost someone for COVID, or you have someone in the medical community, or military, or veteran, or anything like that, or even your favorite pet, we don't care. We just want you to come together and come together as a community. Now, Chris was kind enough to give me some ideas of where I could go to look for fields, because I'm new here and I don't know anything. So I took a drive around on Sunday, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing this wrong, but Anolony Park is a very, very good start. And we were walking around the park, and although we immediately went to the amphitheater, we realized it didn't have enough room for all the things we'd want to do. And if you go up to the hillside across those little railroad tracks along the highway there, across the street from the church, there is a beautiful sloping hill of perfectly green grass that would look beautiful with 800 flags on it. And I think that's a great idea. And that provides enough of a glide slope so that we can have skydivers, because I skydive and I know some skydivers, and they would be thrilled to take part in this. And of course, we'd have to pay them. Friends of mine in the DOD can help us get a flyover from somebody, the Air Force or the Army Guard or somebody. And we can turn this into a big event. And then this would be a very big kickoff. It would be the Thursday before Memorial Day weekend as a planned open event with the police, the fire department, the veteran community, and really anybody you want, schools, scouts, and turn this into an event that we intend to continue into perpetuity, so that we can fund our ability to do good works out there in the world. Now, that's a very broad framework. We have a lot of details because I'm not from here. I don't know the area. I'm kind of a carpetbagger, but I'm hoping that I can get good guidance from this team and whatever the group is that runs the project. But that's the idea. We have a goal of netting out $20,000 to the club so that we can fund our activities going forward. Any questions there, or or is that about cover it for now?
I think
I
that's
think-
pretty good. We did have a meeting last Thursday night with the fundraising team, and they all heard the idea and they all agreed that they would be a part of the team to do this. We've had some subsequent discussions over the weekend with folks too. So I think we have a good team. They work together well this year. They like working with each other. So I think we have a good start team. We have another team meeting next Thursday. So.
Can I add something?
Sure.
The West Reading Wyomissing Club did this last year.
Yeah, we
and
talked
I
about
think we
that.
should,
We
I
already
think we
talked about
should-
that. And Gail Landis is coming to talk with us about that.
okay.
So we're way
I think
ahead.
we should attend that event too. and
Yep,
it-
yep.
Yeah.
Any
Yep.
idea when that is?
It's Memorial Day.
No, it's, I think it's the 4th of July.
Yeah.
I'll
I
let you
think-
know.
Yeah.
Would you please?
Yeah. Gail Landis is going to be coming to speak to our team meeting. So she's going to give us some more info on that. So it is, I think, the week of the 4th of July.
So the people who buy the flags, they take
Yeah.
them home afterwards, after the event?
If you sponsor a flag after the ceremony is over, it belongs to you.
And Ernie, I did send your video to
Oh.
the fundraising team. I'll send it to other members of the board who haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's that's actually a pretty good point for
Mhm.
memories purposes. We need to make sure that we have a very, very good public relations audio team to make sure we get good pictures and good video. The technology is very simple these days.
I'm sure Marlene and the public image team will be able to help us with that. Thoughts, questions? We are going to introduce this. Ernie, the correct date is May the 8th. That's the first,
Thank you.
our first meeting in May. And we will show that video at the meeting too.
That's all I have, Gwen.
That's enough. So I'm sure there's more to come on that.
Yep.
Okay, so Gary, you want to talk about financials?
Okay. I sent out the overview for the month to everybody. I'm sure you received that. During the course of reviewing that, Gail asked me the question about whether or not the foundation dollars shown there reflect the STEMIA dollars, and in fact, they do not. And I think I want to highlight that point. I think she brought up a good point. STEMIA is a different bank than we have our Allentown West money in. It has its own board of directors. It has its own bookkeeper and treasurer. Bookkeeper is Mike Orban and the treasurer is Eric Souter. So it's completely divorced, completely standalone. Again, I will show the dollars in there just as we do for the Vanguard and so on and so forth. Right now, the STEMIA account has a little bit over $51,000 in it. Similarly, the Mongolia 2121 account is distinct and separate and has all of the same attributes as the STEMIA does. And they have about $1,500 in there now, as the dollars, obviously, the dollars for STEMIA for 2121 get transferred over to the Mongolians every year for this to support the students. Sort of at overview level, as I mentioned at the club meeting, I think most of you, I guess all of you were there. The IRS has forgiven our $6,000 penalty, so that's terrific. And we need to thank John for all his diligent work in having that happen. As far as the BCCO is concerned, and I spoke with John this morning. Now that the tax season is pretty much over, he believes he'll be able to identify an accountant to provide the financial statement that's required by the BCCO. Again, it's not an audit, it's just a financial statement, but they want a financial statement from a certified public accountant for the 3 years that we did not file. Various people have suggested accountants, and John's in the process of pursuing them right now and hopes to have someone on board very shortly. Another happy note, the first part of Gail's $4,250 contribution which she and her husband made. Benivity has come through finally. So the first check for $22.50, it's actually 21 something if we take out the fees, has arrived, and Gail has provided confirmed detailed instructions as to how those monies are going to be spent. And then the other 2,000 we would hope would be showing up before the end of the month per Benivity. It should be with us before the end of the month. I would point out that one of Gail's contributions is $1,000 for the Irish Bingo, which brings the total Irish Bingo take to over $7,000. Any questions about any of that? Okay.
All right. Marlene, public image.
So Gwen and I were talking when I said to her in panic, I'm not going to be here. I'm going out of town a couple of times in May and will not be able to do the Palmer Post. And so we were discussing the possibility, and we need the board's approval or other input on doing the Palmer Post just once a month in the middle of the month. And instead of doing every tiny little thing like who won the 50-50 and what their happy dollars were for and all that, doing more of a general newsletter, which would contain announcements and things that are important to the entire membership. I'd like to get your input and see what y'all think about that or what other ideas you would have. Comments?
Yeah, I've got a good comment. All the emails I get and newsletters and that sort of thing, sometimes I feel a little inundated. So I
not
wonder if
surprised.
going to, once a month, with the important things, not like, everybody's happy dollar, which are interesting, but would it be read more, get more attention? Less is more.
Yeah,
I wholeheartedly support your proposal, Marlene.
Yeah.
Anybody think it's not a good idea?
You get a lot of complaints that people aren't getting enough information. We can always go back.
Yeah.
I think
I
it's,
can't
I think
even
that's a great
conceive- well,
idea. I'm being sarcastic.
I really think that if we get complaints like that, it's going to be from like maybe down to 2 people now, 3 people. And, the old guard, and that's about it.
I think you're good.
We need a motion.
Do we need a motion to approve this proposal?
I make a motion, we approve it.
Second. Okay. Yeah, I think it's going to be a nice improvement. So
Thank you.
thank you for doing that. So mid-month is a good time too, because as you know, Marlene has the beacon, because the end of the month, she's trying to get the beacon out. So it's a lot. It's a lot. So
Yeah,
last
come up with a
time,
calendar.
And we still have Facebook.
Right.
Yeah, right,
That's right. Good point.
so, and if people really want information, they know to go to somebody to get information.
Right.
All right, so last time we talked about Facebook sharing. So Marlene, has there been an increase in our sharing?
Maybe 1 or 2 people more, and well, I'd say 2 people more, and that's about it. But it's 2 people more.
All right, well, we'll continue to propose that people share, because your posts are fabulous. So
Thank
and
you.
we get comments from other people outside of our club about them. So I think it's a good thing to continue.
We do have other clubs sharing our posts, which I think is interesting.
Yeah,
BJ always shares our
yeah,
posts. That's
absolutely. And Allentown does quite often too.
Yep.
So, all right. Any updates on snack packing, Diane? Anything new we should know?
No, we have a snack pack this Thursday, and I just realized yesterday I hadn't sent out the for volunteers. That's going out right after this meeting, but no.
Anything else?
I'll be there.
Okay, great.
Anything else about the Impact Club project at the Bike Works, the one that you did last week?
Oh, yeah. So last Saturday, there was 4 of us from Rotary. Gail's husband, he's an honorary Rotarian. We worked at the east side location of Bike Works near Keck Park with 2 of the Community Bike Works workers, staff, I should say, and 7 of the Bike Works kids. These are kids that have gone through the Earn a Bike program. And we were started on a beautification project for that yard area, putting in native plants. So we had a good time, and very grateful. Lisa Walton came out. This was a lot of good contributions from Rotary. Sharon Goldner had put me in touch with a very talented amateur native plant enthusiast who gave me a complete design for the garden. And then Lisa Walton came that day and corrected a few things that we were planning on doing with regard to the beds and that. So it was a good day. Yeah. And the kids were great. So I do have quite a few pictures, Gwen.
Yeah, we need the pictures because they're going to be in a presentation at the conference.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I got quite a few. I was remembering what you were saying, and
Yeah.
and I'm actually not in them because I was taking them all, but other Rotarians are in them.
Yeah.
So
So it was a miserable, freezing, raining, cold day. When I got up that morning, I was thinking of you.
yeah, it actually wasn't too well. We kept moving, so it wasn't too bad. Yeah.
Thank you for doing that. We want to let our club know what's going on. I don't think we talk about the Impact Club, what they're doing enough. We just keep saying
Sure.
club, but we don't say what they're doing. So the pictures will really help.
Thanks for mentioning. Yeah.
Appreciate that. So we do have the Wildlands Conservancy project coming up with Allentown. So we're looking for people who like to plant trees. So I'm getting more information through Don Wien about what we will need as far as tools that day. It's going to be at the Earl Adams Park in Bronxville. We don't have to pay anything. The state of Pennsylvania is paying for it, so we like that. We do need 20 volunteers, and I will send out a sign-up sheet at our next meeting. We were trying to wait.
What's the date again?
May 18th.
May 18th. I think I have that on my.
So we are going to have a fellowship event after the project, and Allentown members were the ones that asked for that because they want to learn more about us. So I think that's pretty positive. So it'll be a good day, hopefully a sunny day. All right, so again, we'll send a sign-up sheet and I'll put some notes out for people. All right, youth services, Gail. What's going on?
We are getting a new exchange student from India, and I've been working on the paperwork for that. Sue usually does that because she's the officer, but with her being laid up with her surgery, I've had to kind of step in and start that process. So I have a note out to Dr. Yadish at Northwestern Lehigh, and I've gotten a lot of the information inputted, but I really want Sue to be able to sign off on all this stuff and do her part of this. So, but yeah, so and Francesco's going to be taking a trip to California. That's been all approved. But that's what's going on with Youth Exchange right now. And what else?
Before you go on to the breakfast,
Well, yeah, I have a question too.
okay, go ahead.
So you indicated that Chris and I, either one of us, need to sign off on that, but I haven't received any information.
Yeah. So when can we get together to have you sign that?
Is it a physical sign off?
Yeah.
All right, do you have the paperwork finished?
Well, I have the paperwork that you have to sign finished. Yeah.
Okay. When does it have to be sent back?
Well, I have to give it over to Dr. Yadish probably this week. So if it's easier, I could just have Chris sign it because he's right up there, and then I can just run it up there.
Yeah, I think that Chris should sign it since he's going to be the president next year too. I think that's more confirming.
It's either one. It's it can be the current year. It usually is the current year president, but it can be Chris. So Linda said it doesn't matter. So I can have Chris sign it.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Okay.
And
Okay, so I'll work it out with Chris.
since he's the one of the sponsors too. Yeah.
What I was
Yeah.
going to ask, go ahead. You done?
Yeah, sorry.
What I was going to ask you, Gail, is do you know when our existing exchange student is going home? I'm trying to time the payments. That's why I asked the question.
He will be leaving in June.
Mhm.
I'll get the exact date.
Okay,
Yeah, it's like mid-June.
okay. And then when the other students, I mean, we'll know when a student starts because it'll be a big brouhaha.
Mid-August
Mid-
for the
August.
incoming, and she's from India.
What's her name?
I have to look it up here. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
So Chris, I know you and Gailey were talking last week about who's doing what and when, right? Have you guys decided who has the student for the first half and the second half and all that good stuff?
I haven't talked to her since then. I mean,
Okay.
Gail, was filling out the forms and asked me when we were. I said the first.
Chris is gonna be the first, that's the plan.
Okay,
The issue we have to make sure of is that he doesn't have, anybody else living in the house at the time, but I think that's not gonna be a problem, right, Chris?
Better not be.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
can't have
know-
more house guests.
I know Chris wants to go to Europe to see his daughter because she's going to
Right.
be spending some time away. So I'm
Right,
hoping that worked out for you. So,
yeah,
okay, great.
yeah. Plus it gives them a little bit of a break, Gailey's family, so.
Right, right.
Yeah, so.
Anything else on exchange students?
Nothing else with exchange students, but I do think we should be planning some kind of a send-off for Francesco before he goes, so we should come up with a date for that. We did that for, last year, just maybe our dining out in June could be a send-off for him.
Well, we'll put that
So-
in your able hands.
Okay,
All right, so the Parkland breakfast is April 24th. We've taken a new approach this year. So I talked to both Nicole and Lori, and we're going to have it in the library. So I think that's going to be a better opportunity for us. We're also catering the event. Nicole told me she doesn't even use the Parkland catering services because they're too expensive. So we are using Panera, and Nicole has thankfully taken that job on. She's going to order the sandwiches. If you order egg sandwich or oatmeal, I have to get coffee, juice, etc., and bring some supplies. So Marlene, I think you have some information already on the two students, correct?
Yeah, just got it.
Okay, good. So we have that, and Nicole has the certificates, and she has the names of the students. So I think we're in pretty good.
and the gift cards.
Yeah, she has everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're in good shape. So I think that's a go. We have about.
I did order pins, so we will be pinning the kids for the incoming year. And then I think we're gonna start that as an annual thing, that the kids will get pinned at the breakfast for the following. I mean, it depends on if they, where we are in the season, if we can do that or not. So, like, we couldn't have done that at Northwestern because they didn't have their new board. But they did elections and they're going to be able to do that. And then we're going to just have the kids pass the pin on each year. So I just ordered for just Parkland this time around. So
Speaking of pins, Michelle, I need to get with you on a few things from Russell Hampton. So I was thinking of that last night, specifically Chris's pin, but some other things too. Okay, so I will continue to send notes out to folks to see if they want to come to the Parkland breakfast, because I have to give the order to Nicole and also have to make sure I have the right amount of coffee. Okay, so STEMIA dates are
need
July.
any with the coffee, Gwen? I'm left over here from a previous event. Do you want?
Well, Duncan actually supplies the cups for the coffee.
Okay,
So we're good there. The cups and the whatever, cream, whatever, and sugar. So we're good on that, but I'm going to bring some glasses for juice. Okay, so STEMIA dates are July 11th through the 14th. We had a successful fundraiser over the weekend. We had 90 guests attending. I don't know what the net proceeds were yet, but the four winners were Katie Farrell. She won last year as well. Tom Colip, Rod Seiger, and I can't remember who the fourth one was. But
Amy
anyway.
Scheller.
Oh, Amy Scheller, that's right, she won. Yeah. And Gary won a $50 bottle of wine.
It's true. That is true. That's true.
So the baskets that I provided brought in $125. The basket that Rosario presented for Allentown brought in quite a bit as well. All right, so we do have 5 students. Amelia Graysick is coming. Her sister Kylie came in 2022, so I've been talking quite a bit with Holly. We have 5 great students. Working with Mike Weber. There's one student who still doesn't have all her paperwork in. Mike is the counselor at Northwestern, so he's working with Miranda on that. So I think it's going to be a great
Are they
event.
all from Northwestern or do we have some from Parkland?
We have one from Parkland. We have one. He gave me 5 names and only one responded. So, okay, so what else on STEM? Oh, as of yesterday morning, we had 32 students enrolled. We have 18 more throughout the district that are looking to come. So clubs are working diligently to get those 18. Our goal for this year is 60. Tony Moyer, Gary, and I are meeting at Kutztown next week to go over all the classrooms. All the classrooms have been reserved. The dorm has been reserved. So I think we're in good shape. We're going to have a meeting with the teachers and with Tony Moyer next week as well. Okay. I was hoping Bill would be with us today to learn more about our 4-way test speech. So I haven't heard who the winner was yet.
Well, it wasn't us.
It wasn't us.
It
Right.
wasn't.
By the way, we did have a picture in the Northwestern Press.
Oh,
So I have a copy of that from Barb. So I don't know if we can get a digital copy of that as well. Danielle wrote an article and presented it to the Northwestern Press. So it's a nice picture. Okay.
When I need to go.
Okay. Thank you for attending.
All right, see you all
See you
later.
soon.
bye-bye.
Bye, Ernie.
Okay, Northwestern Interact. Any advice or update on that, Gail?
No, they do have a meeting. I think I need to reach out to Jean and see how things are going with Amy, but nope, everything's good there.
Okay.
They are working with the farmer.
Oh, good.
So we should have some good pictures coming from them about that. Hopefully we'll get the Parkland Interact over to the garden this spring. I still need to find a date for that.
Okay. Grants. So Gary has something from John.
And let me just read this to you. And this just came in literally about 7 o'clock today, actually 6:59. John says, with the departure of our main contact, Mike Kuklitz, probably pronounced wrong, the recreational manager from Upper Macungie Township, the new recreational supervisor, Emily Crosby, has been unresponsive. I will try again to call today, but if Herb's projects are a priority, we can change the grant. Just let me know what the board decides. So.
Okay, so we'll need to talk to Herb about that. All right, so I'll follow up.
I'm unclear what he said about Herb.
He's saying he can only have one, apparently can only have one of these grants at a time. So if Herb
You have 2.
we have 2, all
Yeah.
right. So if Herb wants to go ahead with his grants, John will pull back from this particular grant because he can't get any response back from the recreational supervisors. This thing's been dragging on and dragging on and dragging on, and it's just kind of stuck. So then he's indicating that there's a new recreational manager identified, and this new recreational manager has been unresponsive. He's tried multiple times to contact her. So he's saying if the board wants to go on with other projects, he'll pull back on this grant, and then
We have to give the money back.
have to get the money back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll go to on to Herb's. I think Herb has another grant in the wings. So
We have 2.
Do we know what those grants are?
Yeah, we've talked about them at the last meeting. Yeah.
yeah.
$2,000 for the equipment, right, Diana? At the church theater. Yeah.
I'm sorry, $2,000 for, I was.
For equipment for the Church of the Mediator, tables, chairs.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yep.
And the other one was for the
The
mentoring.
$6,000 for the mentoring program that they want to establish with Bikeworks.
Right, so there's 2.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Well, that would be unfortunate.
Yeah. Sad, but
Okay, administrative stuff. A couple people have complained to me about Club Runner issues. They can't see pieces of Club Runner. So I've been directing them to Marlene. So I think, Marlene, you've resolved that both with Chris and Barb, right?
Chris, no. What
Chris,
happened?
I think you had some issues, didn't you, with Club Runner?
Kind of difficult to get addresses and like full contact information for members. But I also, in the meantime, noticed like there are a couple of places where members are listed, but you don't get the same information when you click on, depending on where you click. It's not very well organized.
Well, are you doing it on your phone or on your laptop?
On my laptop or desktop,
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I meant. So you're going to your club and then the member directory?
Yeah, so if I member area. So when the home, the page that comes up on Club Runner, if I click view directories, I
No,
can get, like, if I click myself, I get my phone number. There I get the full. I think it's just, again, it's more an issue of where you click, like which menu you choose. Because directories, my Club Runner directories gets you certain information, but in any
Chris,
event,
Try
I have the
clicking on
information.
the membership tab and then
Active
um,
members. That's what I do.
member list and then active
Right.
member list.
That's what I do. That's where I go for everything.
and
And I guess the point, I'm not having an issue at the moment,
Okay.
so we don't need to take any more time figuring that out.
Okay. I just want to let Marlene know that I'm directing people to her if there's an issue. Okay. Conference, I think yesterday was the last day you could sign up for the conference. So we do have.
Friday was last Friday.
Friday was, okay, so we do have quite a few people attending. So that's good. We have met our 2023-2024 goals. So our club is going to receive 1,000 Paul Harris honorary points. So that's a good thing. Okay, any old or new business?
Any update from Sue?
Yes, we've called several times. Marlene can probably give you a better update.
Yeah, we had dinner with them on Friday. We had a disaster of dinner on Thursday, but we had a good dinner on Friday. And she's better. The infection really hit her hard. The fact that the gallbladder was infected and filled with so many stones made it more difficult for her to bounce back. But she's getting around and she's, she can be cheerful, and I think she appreciates phone calls,
Okay.
being assured that she's still in everybody's mind is important to her.
Okay.
So,
So it is okay to call her?
Yes.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
They're not
Okay.
going out, well, today's Tuesday. They may be going out by now. Bill goes out, but she does not like to be left alone. And she's moving slowly around the house, but she is moving around the house. She's getting up, she's getting dressed. She's
Okay.
ready to see people.
Okay. I was careful
Say that again?
not to call. Sometimes recovery for the patient is difficult. So I'm just trying to be careful. So I'll call them today. Thank you for the information. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So one good thing I forgot to mention was we have 43 people attending the Iron Pigs game.
Oh, great.
Great.
That's great. And we have 16 attending the luncheon tomorrow. So that's good.
I have a quick question.
Mhm.
Helen's been organizing, she's gonna be organizing the dining outs, and I told her maybe we should get her access to being able to send out emails to the club. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah,
I'll teach her how to send emails.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that's just the level 60, right? Instead of 70.
Yeah, anybody could do that. Yeah.
Okay. Not everybody, you have to be an editor, I believe. I don't think any club member can do that. I think you have to at least be a 60 level.
Yeah, you know what? I've never been anything but an editor, so I don't really know.
Talking about sending out on Club Runner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. And I'm not an editor.
Yeah.
I've done that, sent something out to everybody.
Yeah. Before changing access, you just go and look and see if you can send out, and then
Try it.
I wouldn't do anything else. Yeah.
Try it before you buy it.
Right.
Oh, I gotta go.
Okay. Any other comments, questions, suggestions?
Nope.
Okay. With that, I make a motion that we adjourn
Good
this.
morning.
Seconded.
Second.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.